Hey friends, welcome back to Cycle for TYCo for a new time slot. And let me explain why we've got the new time slot and why I'm now producing videos on Sundays. The main reason is my little workshop is actually our break room at work. And we're a local towing company, and the problem is we've got a new tow truck driver that also works nights, which is what I work, and which is, you know, perfect for me to do these little projects here and there, up and down. And the problem is we've got a new driver in there that is turning our little break room and my workshop into a man cave. So now during the week when I'm trying to do all these little projects with TYCo trains, and I'm going to be doing some other projects with other cheap toy trains, the problem I'm having is, like I said, he's turning it into a man cave, and so he's watching like Lord of the Rings or The Princess Bride or whatever on this big ass 72-inch screen TV that is making my work a little bit difficult. Plus him and the other night guy, they talk a lot. So I've had to move to Saturdays and Friday nights, which are the days I'm off of work, to come in late and do these projects. And it takes a little while longer for me to edit the videos and get them out, because now instead of spreading it over like a week or maybe doing it like one day, now I've got to, you know, spread it out maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, or my Fridays and Saturdays. So there's that, and there's the reason behind that. But I do have a whole bunch of other projects coming up. And of course, we're going to be talking more about boxcars. And why am I talking about boxcars? Because when you go into a hobby shop, you go to a swap meet, you go to any place, what do you see? 11 billion boxcars. But this is one of the modern ones here. This is actually a shop-built boxcar. And so we're going to be doing shop-built boxcars with a 60-foot TYCo double plug door. We're going to talk a wee bit about it, but yeah, this is one that was actually built in the Union Pacific shops, so this is one of theirs. And just to give you a little idea, railroads still somewhat build their own cars. They have to build them to certain standards. This is built to the Gunderson standard. And so one day I looked at one of the TYCo 60-footers that I had in my pile of swap meet box of parts and went, I bet you I can modernize this. So we're going to modernize these for your pike. We're not going to like super modernize them. I'm going to do what's called a Type 1, to which I'm not going to modify the ends. And then when I get, well, thank you. When I get a moment, I'm going to try and do a Type 2, which is going to actually have the correct ends on here. But for the moment, we're just going to do what I would call a fleet filler. And that's what this is, a fleet filler. It's going to be a modern Gunderson style boxcar, and it will be on sale on my eBay store once I get my eBay store going faster. That's been another thing. I've got some more stuff that I got to put on the store, and I don't have the boxes. The boxes are being a problem coming in. So I got that problem. But yeah, we're going to do a modern 60-foot fleet filler. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the fleet filler. Which of course you can do at home. Easy with the parts. I'll talk a little bit when I complete the project on what I would do to make the ends. That's a little more complicated. That's a little more expensive. That's not what I'm trying to do with these fleet fillers. I'm trying to make these fleet fillers cheap enough on eBay that you kind of look at it and go, oh yeah, you know, I can grab that, I can throw that in my pike and nobody's really going to notice. Now there are differences with the TYCo Gunderson clone, or Gunderson if you would have bought it off Wish or Aldi or something like that. And that would be, the doors on the TYCo are a lot bigger. They're like 12-foot doors, I think, 10 to 12-foot doors. They're wide. I'll have to measure them. I'll tell you about that in the end of the video. So the doors are a little bit bigger, but I've run one of these upgrades on my modern Tonopah Tidewater around our club, and nobody's even noticed. But when I tell them, yeah, it's a TYCo I modified, they're like, ooh. That's a little other thing that I wanted to throw in as far as an update before we get on with our video. And that is, because Memorial Day is coming up. Yeah, Memorial Day is coming up because this is coming out the day before Memorial Day, I think. Our club is now open, the Carson City Railroad Association, CCRA. So I am going to be spending a few Saturdays down there, basically on the club layout, getting frustrated trying to run my stuff on a 30-plus-year-old layout with 80-plus, well, old stuff. Like, you know, I run kits that were built in the 60s. If you see my TNT number 6, that was the original part of it was built in the 60s. I'm running my TYCo stuff. I'm running more of my modern Bachmann stuff. I run some of my newer Athearn stuff. I've got a lot of different lines of locomotives and cars that come from all eras. I'm a model railroader. But with everything that's been going on, with the state of the economy and all that, you know, these economy busters like this boxcar in the background that I'm going to build, this is going to be great to help you with not only your model railroading skills, but also taking a look at, again, toy train stuff and going, I can make this better. I can make this a unique prototype. I can make this a unique car. I can do this because it's model railroading. So let's get started because I'm being long-winded this morning. I'm going to head over to the workshop now. I'm going to finish up this boxcar project and then a couple of other projects for some future videos, and we're going to get right at it right now. And here we go with one more boxcar conversion. This one's going to be TYCo's 60-foot double door. Now, this is the thing that I don't understand. The 60-foot double door came out probably in the early 70s. It was one of their newest cars. But yet, they did this. A roof walk and high ladders. A roof walk on a... I don't get this. So what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade this to a modern... Oh, let's say if you bought a boxcar off of Wish. I don't know. But we're going to do this as a modern Gunderson style clone. That was probably like built in a railroad shops or something like that. As I said before, railroad shops, they used to build their own cars. Southern Pacific had their own car shop where they built their own cars. Union Pacific did that. Santa Fe did that. So there were a lot of railroad companies that built their own freight cars. Pennsylvania was another one. So we're going to do the same technique we've done with the 50-foot boxcars. We're going to go ahead and we're going to replace the roof, and the roof that we're going to use is from Tangent Scale Models. This cost me about $7. Then of course we're also going to do the trucks and couplers. Another thing, TYCo mass-produced the friction bearing trucks. They were never on this type of car at all. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to upgrade this. Now we got to do something different with the roof. Whereas with the 50-footers, we used to cut around the sides. This one, we're going to cut the top. We're going to basically cut some holes here, 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 and here. We're going to use my Dremel to hog this all out. Then we're going to use my file to square it off, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to test fit our tangent roof. Okay, that's done. As you can see, I didn't saw it off on the sides. It's kind of rather difficult actually to do it on this particular model, and basically it's because of the way the roof design is. However, I was able to get this all taken care of, get a nice little hole, and the tangent roof will fit on top. Literally snap right in. So we'll go ahead and we'll cement that down. We'll be using our plastic welder on this. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on the rib lines. And with the rib lines, we're going to use 60 by 60 strips, again from Evergreen. These things are great. And then I'm going to finish, well, first I'm going to get rid of the steps here. So I'm going to grab my chisel blade, wherever it went, lower the steps on this side, and thank goodness I don't have any on the ends. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, the reason I call this a Gunderson clone or home shop clone is because most of the Gunderson cars do not have this style of ends, unfortunately. I haven't seen any modern free cars like this. So, like I said, this would be a good modern car, maybe as a filler for your modern trains or your modern railroad, whatever. But these will go on my eBay store. They're going to go on like super duper cheap. They're going to go below the cost of what I make them. I'm psycho. I'm crazy. I'm nuts. I'm crazy. Crazy. I buy them deep. I sell them cheap. So we're going to go ahead. We'll get started on that. All right. So you might think that the 60 by 60 is a little bit too big, but it's actually not. It fits in very, very nicely. And all we're going to do is we're going to follow the rivet lines. We're going to tack it on. We're going to watch it pop off. We will just simply cut off at the bottom. And that's how we will do the vertical. When you get to the railings, that's going to be a little different. That's why I'm using a chisel tip. It's just going to be a pop and fit. Alright, we're going to keep going on with this until we've done one side of the car, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get the other side here done. And So just to throw out a general comparison on the budget-friendly Gunderson or the Gunderson clone, this is the first prototype that I made for my modern Tonopah Tidewater, while as the one up here is actually an Athearn Genesis. And as you can see, they don't look that far apart. So this one here, you could literally get away with it for a lot cheaper. Hey friends, I know you're at the end of the video and all that, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out that if you're in Carson City or any of the surrounding neighborhoods, come on down to Mills Park where the Carson City Railroad Association, my model railroad club, happens to be at. We've got both HO scale and N scale. We run modular displays. We also have, during the summer months, a 2-foot tourist railroad that kind of goes around half the park. Membership fee is about $35. If you want to run some trains, come on down. Just let us know. Link in the description, and the link is right here at the bottom. And have a good one. I'm TYCo for TYCo. We'll see you next time. Hey friends, I know you're at the end of the video and all that, but I just wanted to make a quick shout out that if you are in Carson City in northern Nevada or any of the surrounding cities, come on down to, I don't believe I just did that.